another one.
So the first question, QA software engineer to more hardware focused test engineer, says, I have an amazing opportunity to move from a role that is essentially a SDET, SDET stands for software development engineer and test, to a somewhat unknown role that is a test engineer. The test engineer role is an automation focused role with an incredible company. The plan is to grow the automation side of things as well as working as a liaison between the hardware and software teams. I guess my main concern is if I go to a role that is more focused on software testing hardware, that I am going to get stuck in it. My career goal is to be an SDET or software engineer. Ideally, back end, although I know most companies want a full stack engineer that can do 100% of everything with 50 years of experience at the junior level. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. I'm going to give one of these to that one. Hold on, hold on. Can I find it? We're going to get. I can't do it. Okay, so I'm gonna read that again, just so we can do this right. Although I know most companies want a full stack engineer that can do 100% of everything with 50 years of experience at the junior level. All right, I just had to, I had to. All right. As I type this out, I realize I am moving from software testing to software testing hardware, and maybe this concern is unfounded. But I would love any insight from people with more experience. All right, so let's get our clock up. Thank you, Mitch. And let's get to it. So, going from I think this person, as they got towards the end of writing their thing, they actually saw that they're still testing. They're essentially doing the same thing. Your focus is on like the software that like you're writing code to test the hardware, but I wouldn't it's still you're still a test engineer, and there isn't anything that's keeping you from always being able to pivot. And here's I think one of the problems that people have is that they get tunnel vision, right? So for instance, me, I am a QA engineer. I do like I'm responsible and accountable for the quality of the software and making sure that the whole team has quality in mind. But that doesn't stop me from diving into engineering things, diving into infrastructure things about like, always expanding. I'm a big advocate for Docker, and Docker, for instance, has helped me tremendously. I was talking to one of our engineers today, to one of our younger engineers today, and they were saying, Docker is really starting like I'm really starting to like Docker because of how quickly I can just get things set up versus like spending hours to do it manually. And the reason that I mentioned that is because everything is a learning opportunity, and everything is something to add to your story. And I try to tell people that where you have to use your past experience to drive your future goals. Sometimes people will come to me like, "Oh, I used to be in nursing, or I'm in nursing, or I used to be in nursing, but I want to transition into some field of tech, right?" And I say, "Well, why don't you use your experience in nursing to try to work for a tech company that has to do with medical, pharmaceutical, like nursing? Use your expertise to help your transition." Sometimes we just want to totally like neglect all the effort that we've ever put in the past. And I'm like, no, you need to use that experience. So if you're going to be, if you have the opportunity, if you have an amazing, if that opportunity is really that good at an incredible company, and you get to build out the infrastructure and the thought process and the processes for automation, then that is, and it says you get to be a liaison between the hardware team and the software team, right? That is a wonderful opportunity for you. And I would say that uh, there's nothing like you should go for it. I would go for it. Like, I mean, I would definitely go for it if it's as you described. And for you to think that, and you're like, you'd still like being a test engineer, SDET, QA engineer, like they all are very closely similar, and you can pivot at any point. It doesn't mean that you stop pursuing like your goals of like learning different coding languages, different tools, different processes, all of that. It's you have to build that. Many times we just want to go to work for 8 hours and then that's it. One of the people that I always mention on this channel that I follow closely is Robert C. Martin. And he says that if you're not putting an extra 20 hours a week to enhance your skills, to enhance your craft, you're not doing it right. Because the 40 hours, that's for your company. But what about you? What are you doing for yourself? What are you doing to level up, to increase your skills? Right? I see Don in the chat. I've learned so much from talking to Don for the past few months. Right? Exposed to different ways, like just by the chaos camp on its own, just by chaos camp on its own, of how to use different APIs about AI and stuff like that, things that we've been working on building and things like that. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. You have to continuously keep going forward. And whatever role that you end up in, like whatever title you end up at work, it doesn't define the path that you have to take. And you need to always be what's the word that I'm looking for? Growing. You need to always be growing. You know, there's like if you're not moving forward, then you're moving backwards. There's no stagnation. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. So if you have the opportunity to lead, to build, to grow, that is a story that future companies want to hear about. What is the awesome thing that you did for your prior company? And if it's, oh yeah, I moved to this company where they didn't have any hardware automation testing, and I built that out and I put the processes in place. I set up the infrastructure, all of those things. That's a guaranteed job right there. Because going from what you have to figure out, that means that you are innovative, right? You can figure things out, and that is a pathway for success, okay?
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.